Oh, yeah! You know what time it is. That's right, it's time for the Eddie and Webby podcast! Yo, I'ma bust out some theme song action for you. Check it out. The Eddie and Webby show is the place to be. They're talking about beer and pickleball and technology. So if you didn't know, now you know. 'Cause it's time for the Eddie and Webby show.
On today's episode, Eddie and Webby try out for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. This is the Eddie and Webby podcast.
Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 42nd podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 42. Man, Eddie, it seems like it was only 41 episodes ago that we were doing our first episode, doesn't it?
It does, but now we're here with 42, and man, we got a good show for you guys tonight. I am so excited for this show.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be super fun, and I can't wait.
Yeah. As you guys know, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch, and this show is meant to be interactive, so please make sure you get those comments and questions coming in here tonight, right?
Yeah, make sure you interact. We love interaction, so please interact with us. Why don't you?
Yes, and typically, you guys know we shut down this show and then we go right into dinking around with Eddie and Webby, but tonight's a little bit of different format that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. But just
Eddie,
know it's good.
Sorry to interrupt, but something looks different. Like, what is going on in your location right now?
Yeah, I'm not in Florida right now. I'm actually in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was in town for the Michigan State games last weekend, and I am also going to a family member's wedding this upcoming weekend up in the Traverse City area. So, been in Grand Rapids for the last week and a half, and won't be back in Florida till early next week.
Nice. That's crazy. So we're actually reporting live just like a couple hours away from each other.
I know. It's bizarre, but
different locations.
Yeah. Cool. We got a great show. I'm super excited to be able to interact with our guest tonight. But before we do that, Webby, what's going on in Twitter?
Yes, Twitter. Let's go ahead and see what's on the Twitter sphere today. It's been blowing up like crazy, more than ever even. Here's a Twitter comment from Whoopsie Goldberg. I got to give a shout out to my boys Eddie and Webby for having my girl Michelle Esquivel on their podcast. Excellent episode. Nice. Thanks for that.
I totally agree, Whoopsie. Michelle was an awesome guest. So much fun to have on, and I hope we have her on again for sure.
Oh, yeah. That was a super fun episode. I loved it. Let's do another Twitter comment here. Here's one from Leonardo DiCrapio. I haven't seen any tournament videos featuring both Eddie and Webby in quite a while. Did you guys stop playing as a team since you always lose so badly together?
Wow. Well, I don't know what to say to that, Leonardo, but
it's a good observation. But all I got to say is stay tuned. You have not seen the last of Eddie and Webby as a team. So
that's right.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, Leonardo.
The losing so badly together, all that is just a big learning experience for us, and
that's right.
It's going to make us get better. You just watch.
Sure. Yes.
All right, let's do one more comment here on Twitter. Here's one from Billy Crystals. Eddie and Webby, I love the fact that you guys are showing videos about how to improve your skill level. Please keep them coming. Nice. Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, that is nice, Billy. I definitely appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I do believe we have some new videos that we're going to show later tonight. So stay tuned for that.
Yes. What are we going to talk about now?
You know what I think we should talk about? I think we should talk about our special guest, and I think we should talk to our special guest. What do you think about that?
I think we should as well.
All right. Man, this is going to be a very fun night. I am super excited to hang out with and talk to today's guest. He is a longtime pickleball player that has been playing and winning championships since before most of today's top pros were even born. He played a big part in designing some of the most popular pickleball paddles for Onyx, and In addition to pickleball, he has numerous passions in life that he has excelled at, such as being a musician, a ventriloquist, a competitive cornhole player, and a home brewer, just to name a few things. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show pickleball legend and fellow podcaster, Steve Paranto. Steve, how's it going?
Great. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, thanks for being here. This is going to be awesome. We have so many great topics to talk about today. Can't wait to get started. But I don't know about you. I'm actually kind of thirsty already, so I think we should crack open a nice cold beverage before we get into it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. I was hoping you would say that. And
I've got mine, but it's already poured, guys. So it's
that's quite all right. And anybody that was listening to the intro, I mentioned how you're a home brewer, and if I'm not mistaken, you've been home brewing for over 30 years. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, about 35 years now, home brewing.
Nice.
And that's what I'm drinking right now. I have so on Wednesday nights at my house is fun pickleball beer drinking night. My backyard's a court, and I always have pickleball light on hand. I always want to make sure I have one of those because, you don't want to really get intoxicated while you're playing pickleball. And so this is a nice light one. And since I'm doing this show and then you're going to be on my show, I thought, 2 hours of drinking beer could be, of course, later on in my show, nobody will be looking at me. I'd be on the ground by that time. But
Right. Oh, that's
Nice.
great.
that's my show. My show isn't video like yours, so I have to be a little careful here. This is fun. It's really different for me to see the screen, see you guys, and see myself on the screen at the same time. Wow, I'm used to just not worrying about that.
Yeah.
I've been told I have a face for radio, so
I've been told the same thing too.
yeah.
What about you, Eddie? What are you drinking tonight?
Well, since I'm in Michigan and since we are going to be close to Bel Air, Michigan this weekend, I picked up a controversial IPA from Shorts. I've actually never been to Shorts. I hope when we're up in that area this weekend, I get a chance to go there for the first time, and I'm excited to drink this beer. Have either one of you guys had this before?
I have
I
not.
have not.
Yeah. I've heard it's good, so I will let you know.
I am super excited about the beer I will be drinking. It's kind of like the closest thing I could think of to get that's not quite homebrew, but it's kind of close because you can only get it at the Detroit Founders location. It was a special beer that was brewed specifically for the Detroit location, and this one is a nice large bomber of Detroit Double IPA from Founders.
Yum.
I love double IPA.
Oh, yeah. Great
And
style.
Steve had a great idea about keeping it light since we're going to be drinking a lot probably tonight, and I probably should have thought about that because this is a pretty big beer, and it's going to be interesting once it comes time for Steve's show, I think.
Right. Well, sometimes beer acts like a truth serum, so maybe I'll get a lot out of you guys on my show later tonight.
Love it.
Nice.
That'll be a good
All right,
time
let me go
for
ahead
sure.
and
Yeah.
pour this out. So, have you tried yours yet, Eddie? What's yours smelling and tasting like?
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving this beer. It definitely has a lot of that American hop, but I am getting some kind of grassy notes as well that are not common in what I would consider to be a Michigan IPA. Almost more like a little bit of that dankness you get from a West Coast IPA, but very drinkable. I could see myself putting back a couple of these, and I am gonna enjoy the heck out of this.
All right. Cheers,
Nice.
guys. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's going to be a super fun night.
I'm drinking mine out of a mason jar, and it has a Bigfoot logo on it. So I got this at a Bigfoot festival about 4 months ago, and it was a cornhole tournament. And at the same time was a Bigfoot festival going on. So a lot of speakers were there talking about their sightings of Bigfoot. I don't actually believe in Bigfoot, guys, but these people did. So I like my
Nice.
mason jar with the Bigfoot on it.
Yeah, I like it. It's very nice. So here we go. Let's go ahead and kick things off. And Steve, as you know, we are not allowed to do a pickleball podcast without first asking our guest, how did you first get involved in pickleball?
And I do the same on my show. I always want to know people's history. So 1974, September of 1974, I was going to Green River Community College. I was a freshman, and I was there. I was playing tennis at that college, and right off the bat, the professors went on strike, and me and another tennis buddy, Dave Lester. So what are we gonna do here at the gym? So it was raining, and we went into the gym and we heard about this game, pickleball, and they had a court set up most of the time in the gym on a little side court, and Dave Lester and I played probably 5 hours a day for 2 weeks while the professors were on strike, and we got good at it. Dave, by the way, he was top ranked in badminton, actually nationally. He was a top table tennis player and a top tennis player at our Green River team. Well, you combine those three sports in 1974 with pickleball, he was very innovative and coming up with some things that nobody else was doing. And the 2 years later, 1976, the inventors of the sport were sponsoring it was titled the World's First Pickleball Tournament near Seattle, where the game was invented. And we went and played that. And in fact, I have a picture here of us. So this is 1976. Let's see, get this picture right there. That's me when I could jump and I had muscles. I'm in the air.
Nice.
And my partner there, that's Dave Lester. And he won the singles event. And back then we played on carpet. A lot of tournaments were on carpet back then, indoor, outdoor carpet. And the matches were 3 out of 5 in this tournament. It was single elimination. And there were about 50 some people in the singles draw. And first thing I was so happy about was that Dave was in the other half of the bracket as I was, because I couldn't beat Dave. And I made it to the finals against Dave. Dave beat me in the finals. And then in doubles, we made it to the finals against Scott Stover and Rob Cahill. And they learned how to play on the original Bainbridge courts. And they were about 30 years old and we were 20. And so we thought, there's no way we could lose to old people. I mean, they're 30. That's how we thought. But they did this shot we had never seen before, which is a third shot dink. Now, it wasn't to the extent we do it now, but we had never seen soft stuff before, and they beat us. So I jokingly always tell people that I was the first loser of pickleball because I lost both finals. I lost the singles final to Dave, and I lost the doubles final to Scott Stover and Rob Cahill. It's in the history book too that Bev Youngren and Jennifer Lucor have written. So I was just at the guys. I was at the right place at the right time. That's all I have to say about it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Very cool. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you actually have something with you that's pretty interesting. That's from around not too long after you first learned how to play, isn't it?
Well, that was talking about Green River. So Green River, we had these rec tournaments. So actually, I did play in tournaments even in '74. This trophy, first place singles. So that means Dave Lester didn't play that tournament because never did beat Dave Lester in the tournament. So I won first in this night, and it's 1975. I doubt that anybody has a trophy going back farther than that. I had a 74 trophy, but I've lost a few of them. But anyway, pretty early pickleball trophy. That was at Green River Community College.
Man, that's awesome. That's pretty great. So Eddie, I think we have a video clip handy. I looked you up on YouTube. I did a little bit of research, and I actually got sucked into a wormhole of videos featuring Steve, and I found this beauty of a video clip. I believe it's from 1984. And Eddie, I would say go ahead and I
probably have really short shorts on, I bet. Oh yeah. This was actually 83.
Oh, okay. Is that you right there? Is that you front and center? Nice.
Yeah. That's my short shorts. And that was indoor on carpet. We played a lot of the tournaments. And I had a lot more bounce in my step at that time. Oh, and by the way, that shot right there was no continuation rule. So as long as you hit the volley, after you hit the volley, you could fall in. And I just did that on that shot. That was at Tacoma Athletic Club, and the paddle I'm using was one of the first paddles that Pickleball Inc. made at the time.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's by far the oldest video footage
Yeah,
I've
in
ever
fact-
seen of anybody playing pickleball.
This is the paddle I was using in that. This is
Oh,
the
nice.
very same paddle. And so this was when Pickleball Inc. decided, hey, this game that we've invented in Bainbridge Island on our court, it's fun. We're going to share this game. We're going to get this game out there. And this was one of the paddles that they sold at the time. This was the Master. That was my favorite paddle at that time. Yeah, that was
Nice.
on. Yeah, that was on that green indoor-outdoor carpet.
So how was that? How was that playing on that carpet surfacing?
You know, it was kind of a ground strokers game. In fact, in singles, you could actually win staying back because the ball would set up for you to hit passing shots. At the time, Earl Birdsall was one of the best singles players, and he would rarely come to the net. And that's hard to believe that anybody would be winning singles. He would beat me on the carpet doing that, but then if we played on the hardwood surface, I would beat him. So that carpet really let the ball set up. Be interesting to see what today's players would do with it. I think remember, we weren't using the Duraball either. We were using a Cosum ball, which was about as slow as today's Jugs ball. So the game was much slower than it is today with like a Duraball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so we actually have a picture on file now. I believe it was from around the same time as that video was. It's actually a picture that you just recently posted on social media. So I feel like we got to show that right now. And there it is.
Yeah, that's 1980. That's 1984. That's my dad's house, my mom and dad's house on a lake. And I'm with Tony Longbreak, who just got back into playing about 4 or 5 years ago, and he's playing tournaments again too now. And he lives in Arizona part of the year. And the paddles we're holding there, those were the very first composite paddles. My dad invented the first composite paddles. Those were the early Pro Lights. And I can tell those are the very first ones right there. That's before we even came out with a larger size. I designed a larger size, which was the first oversized pickleball paddle, and that was called the Magnum. In fact, Wes Gabrielson used that until he switched to Onyx about 1 year ago. The very same paddle.
Nice. Very cool. So do you know what year that was? You might have already said it. Do you know?
No, that's 1984, and that's 4th of July.
Okay.
We had a 4th of July party every year at the lake house, and we invite all our pickleball friends. So if you ever heard of Dan Gabinek, that's a legend in the sport too. He was at that party. A lot of those people stopped playing and they got into golf, but Tony Longbreak is one of those that just got back into the sport. But those were, right. I tell you what, those were some of my fondest memories, was playing pickleball on the lake and having all the pickleball buddies come out on 4th of July. And then when it got dark, they shot the fireworks right off in front of my parents. I mean, professional big time fireworks right on the lake on a barge, 50 yards, I should say, off our dock. Unbelievable.
Nice. I absolutely love the baby blue jumpsuit you were wearing too. I feel like I feel like I might start rocking that. I like that. We should bring that style back.
It had a lot of comments. I want to make that clear. There didn't have a lot of compliments, but I've actually kept. I had 4 of those slick type suits, Adidas slicks, back in the 70s. I played for Pacific University tennis, and we were red and black. So I had a red and black pair, and I kept it. And I pull it out about every 2 or 3 years. I have an 80s party at my house, and that's what I put on.
Nice. So Eddie, what's going on in the social media world?
Yeah, so obviously, Steve, you've been around long enough to see kind of the progression of paddles that you might want to get into more. But Cheryl Hall Wyatt has a question, and she's wondering, what is your favorite paddle now?
That's a good question. So, and it depends on your style. My style of play is all about, and I think this is a good style for seniors to have, is I am trying to reset every ball into a dink until I get to the no volley zone. And so because of that, I've I'm using a paddle that is just tremendous at resetting. I'll show you what it is right here. I wish I could say I designed this one because I designed 2 for Onyx, but this one I didn't. This one's called the Outbreak, and it's got a patent on the surface, Techstream, I believe it's called. And it's very wide paddle. It's even wider than you've seen the wide Selkirk paddles. And I believe that has something to do with how well it absorbs power. Because I wasn't a big fan of the Duraball for many years. And now I love it because when I'm using a paddle like this, I feel like I can absorb that hard rock ball better than most people.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what I'm using now. Now, before this one, I used this, and this is kind of similar, but it's a different surface. This is called the Vertex. This is actually the biggest surface paddle you can have. So I made it as wide as its shape, as wide as you could be legally, and with a short handle. And if you have a short handle, then you can have bigger surface area. So for the people who hold ping pong style, which is becoming very popular, that's this grip right here, the V grip. A lot of people, so thumb is on this side, fingers on this side. Because my finger and thumb are on that surface, I get very good control of how the surface of the paddle is pointed. And that's, I would say 9 out of 10 of the students that I teach do better with that grip. But, paddles are really a personal preference. If you're a power player, so one of my doubles partner, Randy Byther, who I've won 3 nationals with, my longtime friend, he's 6'6", and he likes to exaggerate his reach. And so that longer Vertex or longer C1 does that for him. Now, for me, I like to exaggerate my touch and control, so I use the Outbreak to do that.
Okay.
I think
so
I think that's a good thing to do, is to exaggerate your strengths. That's a theory that I have. I know a lot of people like to have a balance between strength, between control, but I just feel like my game is so much about dinking that I just want to exaggerate that.
Okay. Now, you said you like the longer paddle for when you play singles. Do you primarily only use the longer paddle when you do singles and then use something else when you're playing doubles?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what because in doubles, I'm dinking and I'm resetting. Singles, you're not resetting at all. You're hitting passing shots, or you're returning and you're coming to the net. And you need a longer paddle to cover the court. So yeah, correct. I use a longer paddle in singles, and I use the fatter Outbreak. That's more of a touch paddle. The game is, singles and doubles are like 2 different sports.
Oh, for sure.
The shots
absolutely
required. The shots required are not similar at all.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. Eddie, what's going on social media? Oh.
Right here is the world's first composite paddle. So this, my dad.
Oh, nice.
When I was complaining about the wood paddles in the 80s, my partner at the time was Richard Skevington, and at that time we kept losing in the semis of tournaments, at that first USAPA tournaments. And I just complained the paddles were too heavy, and I weighed the paddles, and they were 13 times heavier than the ball. I weighed my tennis racket, it was only 7 times heavier. So 2 weeks later, Dad has these 2 prototypes, 2 just like this. This is Boeing floor paneling from jet airplanes. My dad was an engineer, and that's what started ProLite. And that's what revolutionized the sport. He's in the Hall of Fame for doing that. He's in the Pickleball Hall of Fame. And so one of these paddles is here at my house, and the other one is at the Hall of Fame at Pickleball Station in Kent, Washington.
Nice, man. That's awesome. So we're
impressive.
seeing some history here, Eddie. That was a big piece of pickleball history right there. That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like we need a 4-hour show just to dedicate to like all of these little historical pieces you have there to show everyone. That's so cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's no chance that we're going to be able to get to everything we want to talk to Steve about, because there's so many amazing things going on in his life. Like, we're gonna have to make this like a 4-part series, I think.
Yeah, love it.
But what's going on social media?
Yeah, we've had a couple good questions here that are coming in. You're talking about, how you still play, Steve, and Scott Golden actually wants to know, do you enjoy rec games more now or tournaments?
I love them both for different reasons. Tournaments just get you so fired up. Your adrenaline's up. there's just something special about a tournament. It's probably because I'm a competitive person. There's just always something special about a tournament. Rec play, though, I just love the people that I'm around. I love the rallies that we have, and that's when you do your practicing. So that's where you maybe work on some shots. It's funny because I'm still working on new shots. You think that I've been playing for 46 years that I would be done working on shots. But if I would still play the game the way I even did 4 or 5 years ago when I was winning national age group championships, I wouldn't even be relevant right now, even in age group. The game keeps evolving, and rec play is a great time to work on that.
Yeah, that's so cool too that you say that it keeps evolving. I've watched videos from even 3-4 years ago, and the level of play is so different now. And I think that's one of the things that I love about the sport. Kind of going on that path too, Mike Baumgardner asks, what do you see for the sport 10 years from now?
That's always a question I like to ask my guests too. I think, well, at the rate we are growing, I think we're going to be possibly talking about being in the Olympics. I think we're going to have a vast number of pickleball clubs opening. I'm talking about private, indoor, maybe even more chicken and pickleball type places also. I just think the number of courts are just going to keep growing. And of course, you know what that means. That means the number of players are going to keep going. I think in the high schools, we're going to have, it might not be a varsity sport, but I'd say in 10 years, it's probably a club sport like we're doing with lacrosse right now. And that will be terrific to get more and more young people playing the sport.
Nice. So one thing I want to find out from you, since you've been such a long time player of pickleball, what are like the biggest changes or differences you've seen in pickleball from when you played in the 70s and 80s compared to how it is now?
The dinking game and the strategy involved with the dinking game is vastly, vastly improved. In the 80s, when Sid Williams formed the USAPA, and I got a picture of Sid over here on the wall, fond memories of Sid. You know, he started the USAPA. He's also in the Hall of Fame, and he passed away a little over a year ago. So we all miss Sid. I just want to mention Sid. But in those days in the 80s, we dinked. In fact, if you talk to Richard Skevington, the partner that I had, you know, when we first came out with this Pro Light paddle here, so this is the first model, Richard and I were then winning everything because we had the advantage. Well, soon everybody else wanted this paddle, and we had a company, and everybody was buying them. But at that time, we did not dink like now. Now everybody can dink from anywhere on the court. But now the top players can hit we don't call it no man's land. We call it the transitional area, or I've even heard people call it real man's land, because today's players can hit a dink from anywhere on the court. And it might be a volley dink. You might be hitting a volley dink from your toes rather than hitting it off the bounce. Like if you watch Simone hitting every ball. So today's players hit every ball out of the air that they can without losing their balance. And they move far less. The efficiency of movement today, if you watch players, and I had Dave Weinbach on my show a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this because he's famous for this, is the efficient movement rather than just jumping all around like your happy feet like tennis players do. So many of the shots have really been well just hit at such a higher level. The control, the mechanics have changed. Actually, much less swings today than there were in the 80s. We swung that racket like it was a tennis racket in the 80s. Today, they're blocking. Everybody can block anything today.
Yeah, definitely. Great.
And then, of course, and then the other thing that happened, because of the Duraball coming in, that added more spin. So you're seeing a lot of cross-court slices now. We never hit cross-court slices in the 80s. We just dinked it over the net. So actually, aggressive dinks. These top players know when to hit a non-aggressive, unattackable ball, and they know when to hit an aggressive dink. Also, we never lobbed from the no volley zone back there. Back then, we lobbed from the baseline, which today is one of the worst shots to hit. Where now you're hitting a volley lob right over their head when you see your opponent's leaning forward. So there's just more shots. The strategy and more shots are just crazy.
Nice. Now, earlier I talked about how I got sucked into the wormhole of Steve Paranto videos on YouTube. There's so many interesting videos that you've been part of over the years. And for one example, I stumbled upon a video on the Pickleball channel that featured you giving tips on cross-court dinking and different ways to be better at playing pickleball. But something that really captured my attention is the fact that you've done some pickleball song parodies in your day. And we actually have a video clip that I think Eddie has handy, and I would say go ahead and roll it because this is pretty great.
You know, he wrote a book about pickleball where he shared a lot of secrets, but not them all because he's Yoda. Yo, 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 Yoda. He's got a little mustache and he's not very tall, but you better watch out, cause he'll hit you with the ball, cause he's Yoda. Yo, 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 Yoda. Yo, 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 Yoda.
I love that.
So that was a party at my house after Oregon State games, and Mark Friedenberg was at the party. And Mark Friedenberg is Yoda. If you don't know Yoda, he's a true innovator, great player, one of the top players ever in the history of pickleball. He's playing in the 70s now at an amazing level. And, you know, it's always fun to do a parody of a friend when they're at the party. It makes it a lot more fun. So we had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Mark was inducted into the Hall of Fame the same year my dad was 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
And I got to sing that song at the, sorry. That's probably how I erased something earlier. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I get some sound effects here too. I got to play that song at Mark's induction into the Hall of Fame. I happen to have my guitar on right now, and I have just a quick fun song that I sang at this year's Hall of Fame. Would you guys like to hear it? A live performance? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to put my voice enhancer on. Here we go. Ooh, I need this game, yeah. I know you need it too. Once you play this game, yeah, it's all you wanna do. Singles, doubles, rec play every day. I just wanna play this game, yeah. 8 days a week, 8 days a week. Pickleball, I love you. 8 days a week are not enough for me to play. I love you, pickleball, yeah. Always on my mind. One game I can play, yeah. I love it all the time. Love it all the time. Pickleball. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I would have my applause meter over here on, but yeah.
Oh, that was so cool. Oh my God, Eddie, like, I feel like I kind of feel bad for any future guests because, I mean, we just had a live performance during the show that was friggin' epic. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So my dream, I do a lot of parodies. In fact, I love the Beatles. And if you guys know who Wes Gabrielson is, he teaches a history of rock and roll class at his high school. He's a history teacher, great hit. And that's why you guys don't see Wes during springtime. He's coaching tennis. He's a teacher. So you don't see him at the U.S. Open. He's still playing great pickleball. But you just don't see him because he's busy teaching. Well, I go to his class every year, and I'm the Beatle expert. I play about 20 songs. We do a kids guess which song it is, who sang it, which album it was on. So
Nice.
that's
I love it.
Fun time. Yeah,
I love
but
that.
I love Beatle. I love Beatle parodies.
I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but we've done a few parody videos ourselves, and the most recent one, Volume 4, that just came out not too long ago, it actually kicks off with a little Beatles parody. So if anybody wants to check that out, but man, this is awesome, Steve. You've been doing the pickleball parodies for a while now. I thought we were clever and like groundbreaking by doing pickleball song parodies, but now this guy right here has been doing it for quite a while, and that was awesome. And I got to tell you, that's definitely one of my show highlights. What just happened there with you performing that song? That was pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I love it.
Oh, great. Well, at the Hall of Fame dinner this year, Wes was my keyboardist, and we put on about a 30-minute show. That was a blast. I just love having Wes on the key. Wes is actually a talented keyboardist. So, in fact, I wrote the songs, and then we practiced for about 20 minutes. He'd never even seen them. All he had to know was what key it was in.
Nice.
I'm not that good. So I have to have my chords written out and everything. But
no, but we do have another video on file of you doing a performance, and I do believe it does feature Wes playing with you, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
So Eddie, I say we go ahead and roll that clip too. It's another great one. Another parody from Steve Paranto.
I might be getting too old to play it 5-0, yeah. 'Cause I've been seeing some signs that are telling me so. I got pains I can't hide. I got pains that I can't deny. I got pains I can't hide, and it will happen to you. My skills are going away. My hip replacement will be next May. My skills are going away, but I still play.
Love it. Absolutely love it. That's great stuff right there.
music is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if the rumors that I've heard are true, you've actually entertained at the Hall of Fame dinner the last couple of years. Is that right?
Yep. The last two. Well, we've only been going 2 years, so I'm not sure if I'll do it this year, but it's been really fun. And like I said, this year Wes was my keyboardist. It's always fun to be on stage with someone else that you enjoy doing that in front of. So,
oh, definitely, yeah, that's great stuff. And we have one more video that I found of you when doing the research of Steve Paranto on YouTube, and this is something I believe you were telling me when we talked before that you are actually a professional children's entertainer. Is that right?
I was. I haven't done that for about 6 years now, but that was my summer job when I taught school.
Okay. And I'm not sure if this was actually entertaining children or not. I think there was a little bit of some edgy comedy going on, but we found a clean clip from an act that you've done in the past. And Eddie, I would say go ahead and roll it.
Once again, as predicted, we're all so addicted to the game that we love to play. Sometimes when I'm playing, I lose track of time and keep saying, just one more game again. You know that you all say it, just one more game, don't you?
Wow, I forgot all about that song. Didn't even know. I couldn't even remember I did that song. But that's Kenny. Kenny is my nerd puppet, and he was in my kid shows, and that was a pretty clean song there. But I have actually done some adult shows at my local bowling alley bar for close friends' birthday parties. In fact, you all know Christine Barksdale, don't you? for the worked for the USAPA. She'd be a great guest for you to have, by the way. She's done some commentating. She's done commentating at Nationals last year. But anyway, she was at that show, so there'd be one of the other pickleball friends that attended a birthday. It had nothing to do with pickleball. It was just a birthday party show at a bar, but I invited Christine to that show, and I think we had a good day. Speaking of that, I do have with me right here one of the longest playing pickleball friends. I have Grandpa Clarence Nelson here. Would you like to meet Grandpa Nelson?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to.
See if I can wake him up here. Wake up. I'm waking up. Okay, here we go. Get on the camera here. We're going to talk to the... Oh! Can they see me? I think so. Can you guys see Clarence?
We can see him.
Oh, hey, Clarence.
What's going on? Well, we're doing... I'm on the Webby and Eddie show. The Debbie and what? No, the Eddie and Webby show. Oh! And we're talking all about pickleball. And since you've been playing even longer than me, since 65, since the game was invented, you guys, 1965.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, wow. I invented the Nasty Nelson. No.
Oh, wow.
No, you really didn't. Actually, Clarence, I had Timothy Nelson on my show. In fact, he's one of my first guests. And he invented the Nasty Nelson. No, I did. No. I don't think you even know what it is. The Nasty Nelson is if you're serving and you notice that the receiver or the non-receiver isn't ready, they're not looking, then you serve a hard one and you hit them and you get a point for that. Oh, that's not what I did. Oh, well, you said you did a Nasty Nelson. I did just last week. What's your Nasty Nelson? Well, when my opponents make a bad call. They make a bad call? Yeah. I take down my pants and I take a big crap on the court. Oh, okay. That's enough, Clarence. That's a Nasty Nelson. Here you go. Help! Don't put me in the suitcase. Help! Elder abuse! Stop, Clarence. Just get in there. You should see what he does to the girl puppets. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I got him. Sorry, I got him in the box now, so he won't bother us anymore. But that's Clarence. He's been playing since Joel Pritchard in the 1965.
Oh man, that was amazing.
He performed at the Hall of Fame dinner too. He sang. Oh shoot! Now I can't remember the song he sang. It was a tearjerker, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, that is awesome. I will never. Anytime somebody talks about a Nasty Nelson, I'll never envision it the same way again. Now,
right? I'm expecting to hear from Timothy any time. So I don't know, but he should enjoy that. Awesome. Timothy has met some of my my puppet characters. Is funny because Timothy's known as Puppet Master, and so you guys, I've got about 20 of these characters, all different animals. I don't know if you guys know Rachel Krug. That's another. It's a small world, but she's another top senior player who is a professional ventriloquist and singer, and this is her full-time living, and she's phenomenal. Yeah, she's unbelievable. So if you ever could get Rachel Krug on your show, she's got a fantastic voice and does a lot what I do. She's actually bought some of my puppets.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah,
that was awesome. So speaking of Timothy Nelson, the Puppet Master, you've actually known him for quite a while. Is that right?
Yeah, I met Timothy when I don't even think he was 21 yet. Timothy stayed at my house a couple times for Northwest tournaments. I don't even know if he's 21, but I don't think so because I think we allowed him to drink beer. But at that time, he was doing things that no one else was doing. In fact, he was my first or second guest. So on my show so far, if anybody wants to go back and listen to my podcast, I started out with either Timothy Nelson or Seymour Rifkin. Seymour announced his forming of the World Pickleball Federation on my show. He formed the IPTPA, which is the first certification for instructors. I've had Robin Shonda Davidson on my show. I've had Tony Tolinar a couple times, Mike Hoxie, Jason Santier, Tyson McGuffin, Simone, Wes Gabrielson, a ball show where I had all the ball manufacturers on my show talking about all the various balls and strengths and weaknesses. I had Caitlin Christian, top tennis player, who's also a pro pickleball player. Mike Sullivan, our nudist show. In fact, that's when I started listening to you guys, is when you guys were ending your show and you were commenting that, oh, turn on Pickleball Talks with Steve Paranto. There's going to be lots of nudity on the radio tonight. And in fact, that's probably one of my highest rated shows. Here I've had on the greatest players in the world. And then I had Mike Sullivan, the avid nudist. And I think that might have been my highest rated show. I had Steve Wong, so many things, interesting things with Steve Wong, but he also had cardiac arrest on the court a year ago. And I had David Overmeyer called, who did the compressions on Steve. Pretty amazing. Steve Dawson, who's turned his tennis club, Bobby Riggs Tennis Club, into a tennis club. I've had Scott Golden on that show, and I know you've had Scott Golden. I've had Dane Gingrich, who's the mental performance coach, and since he's been on the show, he's been making the circuit. He's been very popular. I had Dr. Graham Erickson, who is a sports vision expert. I always wanted to do that because I wanted to help if I could prevent one person from getting their eyes injured. So we talked a lot about eye protection. I had a memorial show where we talked a lot about June Crabb. I had some of my closest friends in the studio. June passed away a couple years back, and we missed June a lot. But anybody could call in and talk about people they miss. I had Dave Weinbach on a couple weeks ago, and boy, he was very insightful on improving your game. I had top Onyx players, Steve Cole, Lucy Kovalova, and Matt Wright. Tonight, I'm having you guys on my show, and we're going to talk a lot about broadcasting in the world of pickleball. And next week, I have Curtis Campbell, and we're going to talk about all the things we'd like to change in the sport if we had full control over pickleball.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of your show. I've listened to all of them. I've even been called in a few times. And if anybody that's listening has never checked out Steve's show, you've got to check it out. It's Pickleball Talks with Steve Paranto. It's a live show that you can actually call in with a telephone. And maybe some of the younger listeners might not even know these cell phones, you can use these to make phone calls. They're not just for texting and Facebook. You can actually make phone calls with these and call into Steve Paranto's shows Thursday nights live. It's pretty awesome. You got to check it out.
I wanted to do something that no one had done before, so I wanted a live call-in show, and it's been fun. I've had, like I said, just amazing guests on the show. People in the pickleball world are so good about promoting the sport. And so you call someone up like Tyson McGuffin or Simone, top singles players in the world, and they go, sure, I'll come on. When is it? Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And Eddie and I have talked about this numerous times on the show. We can't get over the fact of how many amazing guests have actually agreed to be on our show. We always just assume that they feel bad for us and just want to do some charity work or something like that. But yeah, it really is. It's amazing. Like I feel like there's no other sport where the pros are so down to earth, so accessible, and so friendly. It's very cool. Another one of the many reasons why we love this game so much. Absolutely. But one question I have for you though is like, what made you decide to do a podcast?
Well, a few things. I taught school for 30 years, and I was used to being in front of an audience. And then I did my children's shows in the summer for 20 years. And I missed having an audience. And a couple years back, I had a chance to be the broadcaster for play-by-play stuff for some big tournaments, local tournaments when we had the Professional Pickleball Federation in Bend. And I enjoyed that so much. And then when I was at the U.S. Open the year before last, Pickleball Channel had me broadcast quite a few of the senior pro matches. And I thought, this is really fun. I just like doing this. And I'm going to talk to you guys when you're on my show more about all the broadcasting play-by-play, what you guys think of different broadcasters, and because I'm a fan of many of them. And anyway, I just had so much fun doing that. I thought, you know what, I need to create my own show. And I love talk shows. And so let's create a live talk show.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you're doing a great job. I love it. I love tuning in. And one thing we like to do here is ask some hard-hitting questions. So I hope I'm not putting you on the spot too much here. But now is where I would like you to rank the guests on your show from your least favorite to your most favorite. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to make you do that.
Wow. Yeah, I was just going to go, wow, how do I get out of this? I was just thinking to myself, whoa. You know, even if I was to even tell you my least favorite, they would still be they were all great guests. But I mean, it would be like, okay, a scale 1 to 10, and my least favorite's an 8.
No, all your shows have been great. You've had amazing guests, and I was just trying to be a little jokester there.
Yeah, that was I and I forgot to mention having Enrique in the studio. You know, Enrique is one of my closest friends. It's so nice. I happen to live in an area where Curtis Campbell lives in my town. Wes is 20 minutes away, and Enrique is about 30 minutes away, and Tony Tolinar is and these are 4 fantastic people who can talk about our sport and are playing at the highest level. So, and Bonnie Williams, I can't forget Bonnie Williams. And these are all people I play with, train with, and get to have them in my studio. There could be a lot of places if I lived, I wouldn't be able to do what I've done with having these people right here in my studio.
Nice. So Eddie, what do we got going on the social medias?
Yeah, I know, Steve, that our time with you is coming to an end here. We have so many things we still want to talk about, but here's a question from Scott Golden, actually. He said, what happened to the PPF, the Professional Pickleball Federation?
Yeah, so that was one of them that I got to do the commentating for a couple years back, and it just folded for some reason. They weren't making money. I can't tell you. I can't tell you why. I do know that, you know, the same people are always winning. And so you have maybe, you know, 40 people paying quite a bit of money to enter these tournaments. But then the money is actually being just spread around by the same 3 or 4 people that are winning at the time. I think now we're getting a deeper level of great players that can all beat each other. So I think maybe that could change. I'm just doing some guessing on why that didn't work. I know they weren't making money.
Right. Okay.
Hey, you guys, I do have, if we're coming to the close, I want to make sure I have because this sport is a sport we all get obsessed with. And I did a survey, and I found out the top 12, they're usually, you know, David Letterman had the top 10, but there were so many. I have the top 12 signs you might be obsessed with pickleball. Would you like to hear those?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Here's where I need the drum roll. Did you guys cue up a drum roll? Let's start with a drum roll. We'll end with a drum roll.
I got it ready for you.
Okay. Just keep it ready. We'll do it for number 1. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Number 12. Your non-pickleball friends have arranged a pickleball intervention for you. That's number 12.
Yeah.
Number 11. You no longer have non-pickleball friends. Big laughter there. Number 10, you are an ambassador, a certified instructor, a certified referee, and the president of your local pickleball club. And there's going to be some people listening who that applies to.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Number 9, you can't decide if your pickleball nickname should be the Pickleball Pimp or Badonka Dink. Hard decision.
Nice.
Tough decision. Number 8, your garage is now a dinking court. And we've seen this video, everybody's garage being a dinking court.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7, you have an autograph of both Ernie Perry and Puppet Master. How many of you can say that? That, you know, Ernie Perry's who the Ernie's named after. Number 6, you have recorded and analyzed every U.S. Open and National Final. There are people who have done that. Number 5, you spend more money yearly on paddles than you do on healthcare. Number 4, you broke up with a perfectly good girlfriend because she is a 3.5 and you are a 4.0.
Nice.
Number 3, you are constantly one of the top 5 contributors to the Pickleball Forum. Number Number 2, you can't wait for the Kyle Yates autobiography to come out. Kyle should like that. Okay, drum roll now, guys. Get your drum roll queued up. Here we go. Number 1. You regularly watch and listen to the Eddie Webby Show and Pickleball Talks with Steve Paranto.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
And you know you're obsessed.
Nice.
That was great.
I love it. That was awesome. There are a couple things on social media that I do got to bring up that caught my attention. Cheryl Hall Wyatt says, Steve is truly multi-talented. That is absolutely true. Couldn't agree with you more, Cheryl. And here's an interesting one from Anthony Kolika. He says, the people need a Webby and Steve duet parody. What do you think about that, Steve?
Well, we'll have to work on that. I've got a few songs in the can, as they say, so.
All right. Yeah, I'm always down for a new song parody. I love doing song parodies. So if you think of a good duet for us, I'm totally down.
That's good. I've got a few. Yep.
Nice. I do have a couple more things to bring up before we say goodbye. You were telling me before the show that you actually have been playing competitive cornhole quite a bit lately. Is that true?
Oh, I just love it. So I just got in with the right guys here in Oregon that are top players. In fact, my friend Bob, and I just call him Cornhole Bob. We play every Saturday indoors. We practice, and he's won the state championship here. I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 times. He was one match away from being on the ESPN show about 2 weeks ago. So I'm getting great training. I just love it. To me, it reminds me of hitting a third shot dink. The right arch, the right touch to slide that bag in the hole. So I'm in 2 leagues right now, and I'm just loving it.
I do love cornhole. That's a game I think I could do competitive as well. I usually dominate when I play against my friends and family, so I'd love to see how I do against actual professional cornholers.
Right. Now, are you using the good bags that are sticky on one side and slippery on the
Actually, I don't think I have used the any that have a sticky side. Are you still there? I feel like we might have lost connection. Uh-oh. Eddie, are you hearing Steve anymore?
No, looks like his internet might have disconnected on us here.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, it was about the time where we were going to say farewell, but I had a couple more things I wanted to say to him, but I really do feel like we need to have him on again. I mean, talk about an epic, amazing show. How awesome was that?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love having a lot of the pros on to be able to talk about the game and everything like that. But, man, to have a singer, musician, a guy who's been in the sport for 30-some years, knows his history, and also performs live on the Eddie and Webby show, man, I think we need to be vetting our guests a little better now that we've had we've peaked now. You know what I mean? I don't know how we're gonna come down from this.
Like I said before, I feel very bad for any future guests that have to follow Steve because I mean, he performed live on the show. He did a ventriloquist act. I mean, come on, and this was amazing.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I was just cracking up the whole time. A lot of the times that I was off screen, and I actually had to mute myself because I was just laughing constantly at all the great stuff he was pulling out. So that was fun. That was so much fun.
Oh, so great. And not to mention his dad is the creator of the composite paddle. I mean, that's what a groundbreaking thing in the sport of pickleball, and he's in the Hall of Fame for it. I mean, that's amazing right there. Man, such an awesome night. I'm so glad Steve was here.
Yep.
Unfortunately, his signal cut out, but I mean, we were about to say goodbye anyway. But we got to make sure we remind everybody to tune in to Steve Paranto's show that's going to be airing 29 minutes from now, as a matter of fact. And we have some contact information that we're going to show on the screen. You want to make sure you take note of this. So if you want to call in live while we are on his show, that's right, Eddie and Webby will be on Pickleball Talks with Steve Paranto. All you got to do is call the phone number 971-327-9530. That's right, 971-327-9530. And you'll be connected with Steve Paranto on Pickleball Talks.
Yes, that is going to be a great time for sure. Oh,
So,
I
But-
think we got him back here real quick.
he's
Let's
back.
see.
yeah, I'm
Hey,
back.
there he
Yeah,
There he is. He's back.
something happened to my computer, but we're back now.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry
Yeah, we
about
were just
that.
telling everybody how amazing it was to have you on. We were telling everybody to make sure they tune into your show, which is now going to happen 28 minutes from now. We gave
Right.
them your phone number. Got to make sure you call in and interact with all of us. There were just a couple more things I was going to ask you before you left. Is it true that you have a pickleball court in your backyard at your house?
Oh yeah. Yep, my backyard's a court. In fact, since 1982, my backyard's been a court, different homes.
Wow.
And so
Very
like
nice.
last night was my Wednesday summer pickleball night, and I have people playing pickleball, people inside playing table tennis, and I've got a lot of other things to do. But
Oh,
pickleball court's always the most popular.
oh, man.
I wish I
gotta-
had. I wish I had two.
How do we get in on the Wednesday night pickleball thing? I mean,
Well-
Eddie and I are always talking about like signs that we've made it in the pickleball world, and I feel like we truly haven't made it until we've played pickleball on Steve Paranto's backyard pickleball court.
So whenever you're in the Portland, Oregon area, you're invited. So that's, in fact, we just had, last night we had Kelsey here, who I just met in a pickleball tournament 3 weeks ago. She's a pilot, and she happened to be in Hillsboro because she's flying out of Hillsboro. And she said, can I come to pickleball night? Absolutely. So she was here last night, and get new people here all the time.
Nice, yeah. That is officially at the top of my pickleball bucket list. So that's got to happen one of these days.
Yeah, we got to do that for sure.
Yeah, the Northwest is a great place to visit. So Portland and Seattle, we're only about 3 hours apart.
And you got lots
Yeah.
of good beer there too.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Northwest is famous for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely got to do an Eddie and Webby tour around the country and just visit all these amazing locations and all these awesome people that we've talked to. But man, Steve, this was such an awesome night. Can't thank you enough for being here with us. Is there anything you want to tell to anybody that's tuning in, like update them on how they can keep track of what you're up to?
Well, if you want to listen to all the past episodes, use any podcast app and punch in Pickleball Talks. And a lot of people on these podcasts, just like I do when I'm driving, I listen to podcasts. They listen to them at a later time while they're driving or while they're exercising. I've learned a lot by having the guests on that I've had, and I'm sure the listeners will too.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, Steve, we cannot thank you enough for being here. And we'll see you real soon because we're going to be guests on your show in 26 minutes.
Right. I'm going to be getting ready. So you guys call me back at 10 till, and we'll make sure your sound levels are right, and we'll
Nice.
hear you. We'll hear your voices in just a few minutes.
Awesome. Yeah, the tables are going to turn. We're going to be on the
Yeah.
other side of
Right.
the microphone.
Yeah.
I'll be on this side of the microphone instead of this side of the
Yeah.
microphone.
Yeah. Which is harder?
Yeah, we'll find out.
What do you think's harder? What do you guys think's harder?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I was pretty nervous about thinking about the fact that we were going to be on your show and you were going to be drilling us with questions. But the more I think about it, like really, like it's the host's job to like think of all the questions and keep things rolling. So it's kind of easy street for us. So I'm trying to talk myself into it being easy street on your show, even though I am still pretty nervous, to be honest.
That's how I feel about it. I feel it's easier to be a guest than it is a host.
Ask us in a couple hours.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I will.
I am.
Okay.
I am one glass of my double IPA in. I'm about to pour my next one, so I think I'll be fine.
I might even go a little bit. I might go with my IPA next too. So.
Oh, nice.
If I'm slurring my speech, you'll know why.
Nice. Very cool.
Okay,
But yeah, thank you
guys.
very much, Steve, and we'll be talking to you very soon.
Okay. See you in a little bit, or hear you in a little bit. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks, Steve.
Wow, so cool. So damn cool.
Yeah. Cool guy, man. That was so much fun to have him on. I know we've already we've already concluded his interview and then he came back,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
I just unbelievable. The guy's super talented, very funny, loves the sport. I mean, you can't ask for a better guest than that.
Oh, for sure. That was awesome. It was definitely a highlight in my pickleball career. And we actually need to get going pretty soon because we're going to be on his show. But we do have a couple very important videos to show. Anybody that tuned into our previous episode knows that I recently met up with DJ Howard for some pickleball coaching. And I'd like to present part 1 of that experience right now. So I'd say, roll it. Oh, hey, how's it going? Today is a pretty exciting day for me because for the first time ever, I'm going to get some high-level pickleball coaching. Oh, yeah. Our good buddy DJ Howard, aka Daniel J. Howard Pickleball, is going to be meeting up with me and giving me some coaching today. So let's go get ready. DJ was nice enough to actually watch some footage of me playing some matches. And what did you notice when you watched me play? And anything I need to work on that stood out to you?
Yeah, footwork's important. You tend to crowd the ball a little bit, allow the ball to get in too close, and it's not allowing you to perform as well as you could. You really need to get better stability, balance, and then you have better rhythm hitting your shots.
Okay.
So that's one of the things we really want to address is the footwork and then the positioning or your posture when you're hitting the ball.
Okay. Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let's go ahead and get started.
All right. Here we go. So we're just going back and forth. I mean, nothing fancy, right? But I'm going to move you around. I'm going to challenge you a little bit. And then I'll give you feedback as we go. We want to keep everything as controlled as possible, right? You want to maintain that stability like I talked about.
Yeah.
But then balance doesn't mean you have to be completely straight up and down, right? If I'm over here, I'm still balanced. Okay. So I can still maintain stability and balance even if the ball is further away from me. And then just keep it simple. There you go. There you go. Always attempting to keep the ball in front of your stance. There's one other thing I noticed is you tend to let the ball get back here a little too far.
Okay.
If you allow the ball, or if you wait to take your backswing until the ball's bouncing, now you're going to be late.
Okay.
That serve that you missed, remember the guy served it and totally missed?
Yeah.
Preparation was late and then subsequently trying to play catch up and it's not going to work very well.
Okay.
So you want to prepare a little sooner, keep that ball out in front. That way you're ready to go get it. There you go.
Yep. Some great tips from DJ there. And that was just scratching the surface. We got, there's going to be at least 2 more, maybe 3 or 4 more. There's a lot of great stuff that we covered. And I've only been able to play games recreationally twice since I had the training with DJ. And I can tell I definitely need to work on that stuff a little more. I need to rewatch those videos because one thing I've really been noticing is I catch what I'm doing wrong. Like I'll make a play and I'll be like, oh man, that's exactly what DJ said not to do. Yeah. So I need more practice on being able to do what he was telling me to do. But it's I've said it before. I can't really explain how valuable that was, that 2 hours I spent with DJ, because it made so much sense what he was telling me. And I know what I need to work on. It just really all it comes down to is I need to do some drilling or just practice like doing what he said during rec play. And I'll be doing a tournament game, playing in a tournament in a couple of weeks. So hopefully I can do a lot of the things that he told me to work on and come home with a gold medal.
Nice, man. Yeah, I think that was a good tip. We've gotten good feedback on this section where there's actually tips that apply directly to Webby and myself as we're improving our games, and we've gotten really good feedback on it. So we're going to keep this train going. I just sent over some raw footage to Tony with Into Pickle, so he's going to have some more tips in the future. So we're going to kind of go back and forth as we're both improving on our journey. So good stuff is going to keep on coming, and I'm excited to see, nice, Webby, how you're going to do. Now that you're starting to get some of these professional lessons in coaching, man, I think it's going to do awesome for your game. I know that the few times I had it did a huge thing for me. So I'm excited to see what it's going to do for you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm super excited too. Can't thank DJ Howard enough for the training I got from him, and I definitely look forward to getting some more coaching in the future because it was very helpful, and I definitely I just can't tell you guys enough. If you get a chance to do a pickleball camp or to get some one-on-one training, absolutely do it. It'll be a game changer, no doubt about it.
Nice. Well, I think it's about that time, huh?
I do. It's almost time for us to be on Pickleball Talks with Steve Paranto, and I need to make sure I have time to use the bathroom before that happens.
Cool. Well, real quick, I did play at the Meyer State Games of Michigan this past weekend in Grand Rapids. We're going to have a couple of videos coming out about that. Awesome experience. I was really hoping to be able to talk more about it tonight. Had so much fun. So many cool things happened, but it doesn't look like we're going to have enough time. So maybe we'll do a podcast sometime in the next couple of weeks, and we can talk a little bit more about that. Webby and I are going to be at the Beer City Open. So if you guys are there, look us up. We're going to be doing some broadcasting there. While I was here in Grand Rapids at Belknap Park, got to take a look at maybe some cool things we can set up there. So I'm really excited about what's going to happen there. And what else? Anything else you want to talk about?
I will be at the Great Lakes Regionals in Kalamazoo, Michigan, coming up very soon, just like a week and a half or so. I will be doing the men's doubles 3.5. So if you are in the Kalamazoo area, feel free to give me a shout while I'm there.
Nice, man. Well, this has been episode 42. So we want to thank all 42 of you out there that are still listening. You know who you are. We love you. Thank you guys so much. Again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Steve Paranto's Pickleball Talk Show. Webby and I are going to be on there. Make sure you call in. And that number one more time is
971-327. Oh, we're not going to say this together? Anyways, 971-327-9530. That's 971-327-9530. The show starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you got to figure out whatever that time is if you're in different time zones, because I don't know. But
right.
Yeah, you should definitely call in. It's going to be fun. And we will see you soon.
And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, is signing off.
See ya.